begin. My name is Ramy Rubin. I am a fundraising advisor for CauseMatch. Thank you all for being here with me today as we talk about finding matching donors. Before we dive in, I just wanted to go through a couple of housekeeping items. The agenda today is pretty straightforward. Going to present for the next 30 minutes or so, and we'll use the remaining 15 minutes for question and answer. We are recording the session today, and there will be I'll be able to send that out hopefully later today, if not first thing tomorrow. So if you miss anything or would like to share it with any colleagues, you're of course free to do that. You'll be receiving the recording shortly after this web. Please use the chat for Q&A. I've asked my colleague Aviva Goodman to moderate that chat as she continues to let people in. Thank you, Aviva, for being my co-host, my wingman on this presentation today. So use the chat. I'm not fantastic at multitasking, so she'll help me with that. Lastly, the last bit of housekeeping is I want to put my email address front and center. I'm going to put it up again at the end of the presentation as well, but I want to make sure you have it because I always feel very weird. This is a very asymmetrical relationship we've established for ourselves here, where I speak and you only get a short bit of time at the end to ask questions and answer. I love to hear from you. I want to hear from you, your questions, comments, suggestions about finding matching donors, this topic in specific and in general, what we could be doing better. So please just know my inbox is figuratively and literally always open. I really want to hear from you. Please email me at ramy@causematch.com. And in conjunction with that, with the recording, you'll be getting a survey about this webinar. I read every single one. I take them very seriously. Please fill it out. Let me know how I did and what we could be doing better the next time. A bit about CauseMatch. CauseMatch is the most powerful fundraising platform on the market. We are a peer-to-peer. We specialize in peer-to-peer ambassador-led campaigns. And really what differentiates us from the other players in the market are these three buckets that you see on screen here. Our cutting edge technology, our fundraising strategy, and our 24/6 rapid response support. I consider this webinar as falling into bucket number 2, right? We don't just want to give you the technology and have you be on your own. We feel like we want to be in the trenches with you and arm you, the frontline fundraisers, with as much expertise, as much knowledge as possible so you can go out and raise money for your amazing causes. Once again, use my email address. If you have questions about our products or services, I'm happy to answer any questions you have, or at very least, usher you to the person who would be best suited to answer them. But that is about CauseMatch. In conjunction with that, I'm just going to open up my chat here, and I'm going to paste in, there's a conference coming up in May called the .org conference. We have a special promo code where you get a 40% discount. It's not letting me send. Send to everyone. I will make sure that you have that 40% discount available so that you can see us at the conference. It's in New Jersey in the beginning of May. I'm not going to spend time getting that to work now, but I will make sure that you have that promo code available to you. If you can, as you are looking for that chat, open up your chat and type in the name of your organization, if you wouldn't mind, and just let me know who you are and what impact area you serve. That will help me tailor some of the examples that I give over the course of this presentation. I'm gonna take a sip of water as I see those coming in. Amazing. It's nice to see so many both familiar and new names. Awesome. Please keep those coming in. All right. Okay, I'm going to keep coming in, going to dive in here, but please keep I have the chat open. I'm seeing the names come in, so please keep those going. When I think about matching gifts, I think there's a couple of elephants in the room that I want to address out in front. And the first one is, does matching really work? Does matching really work? I want to put this front and center. I've done a lot of research over the last couple of years in a lot of different aspects of fundraising and matching specifically. And I wanted to distill the data points into 3 buckets. I have 3 different data points that I want to share with you to show you that matching really does work. The first one is that 84% of people say they're more likely to donate when a gift is matched. People give when they wouldn't otherwise give when a gift is matched. And we've seen this from the organization side as well, that when organizations send out a direct mail or an email, there's a 71% increase in response rate when that donation is matched. These data points come from a company called Double the Donation, which deals a lot with workplace giving and corporate matching sponsors in the States. And they do a lot of great work and have a lot of good data around it. So people are more likely to give when there's a matching component. The third data point comes from a couple of different sources. I started in-house and looked at CauseMatch and looked at a couple of different other organizations and companies that deal with matching gifts. And what I found is that there is an increase in the average amount of to the donation of 25 to 50%. So the bottom line is this: people are giving. People who wouldn't otherwise give are giving, and people who are, sorry, I'm going all out of order here. More people are giving more, and that doesn't even count for the matched money that's often an increase in it of itself. So you can see from all of these different data points that matching does work. People that wouldn't otherwise give are giving. People are giving more than they otherwise would. And the matchers, and we're going to spend a lot of time talking about our matchers, you're going to be able to get increases from them. And none of these data points address that. So you're winning on all of these different levels. Matching really does work. The second elephant in the room is that the biggest question that we get is, where are we going to find our matchers? And I think that there's a certain level of skepticism that people come to us when they ask us that question. They're pessimistic that they're going to be able to find matchers. I think that you can find matchers. I'm skeptical of your skepticism. I think there are lots of different places within your donor pools that you can find matchers. Now, you know your donor bases better than I do, but I want to throw out some ideas of places that you can look for matchers within your data pool. I'm going to put up 7 on this screen in just a minute here. The first 4 are probably your usual suspects. I think these are going to be fairly obvious to you. My guess is that the last 3, numbers 5, 6, and 7, are going to be places that you wouldn't necessarily think to look. Those might be a little bit more surprising to you, but let's go through them one by one. The first place is corporate gifts. Corporations love to be matchers. Right? They like for people to know that they're generous, that they're not just interested in their bottom line, but that they are interested in the social good. So especially if you're a local organization and there are local businesses around you that give corporate gifts, I would encourage you to turn to them and ask them for their support. And if they're already giving you, ask them to use that donation as a match itself, or even ask them for an increase to use as part of your matching pool. Corporations love to be matchers. You can also turn to unrestricted grants. I'm thinking about government funding here and private foundations. You can turn to them, especially if the grant is unrestricted and you read through the fine print and it's okay, then you can use those grants as part of the matching pool. So look at your unrestricted grants and find the money in there to dedicate to the matching pool along with other donors. Sort of subset of the unrestricted grants are family foundations. Family foundations really, really like to be matchers. They like to see a diverse portfolio of donors. So I would encourage you to look for your family foundations, ask them for that increase as well to be used as part of the matching pool. I'm actually working with one of our CauseMatch partners now on an ebook and a bunch of other marketing resources specifically on this topic of how family foundations like to be matchers for their campaigns, because when you pair matching with a peer-to-peer campaign, those family foundations are going to see a really, really diverse pool of donors that are able to come to your organization. And they're going to know they're not the sole supporters, which is what they want. They want to see that there is stability within your organization and in your funding structures. And the fourth of the sort of like obvious places to look, the usual suspects are your major donors. Your major donors are the ones who care deeply about your organization and show it with their financial support. So turn to them, ask them if you can use their gift as part of the matching pool. And again, turn to them and ask them for that increase and get even more, because you're going to be able to do so much more with their money. Now, the last 3 that I want to put up here, I think will be a little bit surprising to you. The 5 is mid-level donors that have the capacity to give more. I've seen organizations are often looking for the right opportunity to ask mid-level givers to increase their gift. So this is going to be different depending on the size of your organization, but let's throw out a number here. Let's say you have a $5,000 donor. that has the capacity to give more. Now, you might been looking for a reason to increase this donor. Running a crowdfunding campaign with a matching component is an awesome incentive for you to be able to go to this donor and say, give a little bit more this year, and let's use your increase. Let's use your gift this year as part of a matching pool. So don't just go through your top donors and say, this is the potential candidates that we have for matching donors. Go through it all the way through and find those mid-level donors. And I think you're going to find diamonds in the rough there that have the ability to give more, and you can use this as a great opportunity to ask for that increase. The sixth place to look is your board. I found this is a bit of a controversial topic, and I'm not entirely sure why, but the concept of board members giving to your organization should be obvious. I hope that your board members are giving. If they're not, then I would like to ask that you email me after this webinar and tell me a little bit about the friction that you're experiencing and the resistance that you're experiencing, because I'm really fascinated in this topic. I'm going to assume for the purposes of this conversation right now that your board members are giving, but if they're not, I do want to hear about that, sort of like a side point. But you can turn to your board and once again, ask them for an increase, ask them if you can use their gift as part of a matching pool. They should be the ones leading by example. You should be able to turn to your board and ask them to do that in this case. And the last place that I want to ask you to turn to look for matching donors are anyone within your donor pool, anyone within your database that you truly listen to. Because you might have someone who gives you $20. But if you truly listen to this person, if you have formed a relationship with this person, if you've peeled back the layers and understood their why do they give? Why do they give to you? Why do they give you now? Then it very well could be that they have the ability to give more, and that this campaign that you're running and pulling funds together for is an answer to that question of why. I think that you can turn to anyone and ask them to be a matcher if you are truly listening to them and able to understand their why. Now, the flip side of this is if you don't understand their why, the ask can feel a little tone deaf, right? You can't ask a $20 donor to be a major donor if you don't understand their motivations. But if you understand their motivations, if you're able to peel back the layers and understand their why, then you have the ability to ask them to increase their gift once again and become matchers as part of this group. Those of you who have heard me speak before know that I love the psychology of giving. Why do people give? Why do people give away their hard-earned money, even to amazing organizations like you all run? But I love understanding the psychology of giving. And in preparing for this presentation, I was thinking a lot about the psychology of matching. Why does it work? Why do average gift sizes jump 25 to 50% when there's a matching element? And in thinking about the psychology of matching, I broke it down into 3 buckets. I wanted to approach it from 3 different perspectives. I wanted to approach it from the matcher's perspective. Why do matchers love matching campaigns? Why do donors, the crowd, why does the crowd love matching campaigns? Why do they respond so positively to it? And why do organizations love matching campaigns? Why do they invest all of this time and effort in getting those increases and pulling it all together to run campaigns? What is the psychology behind each one? So I found it easier for myself to compartmentalize and break down the psychology into these 3 buckets. So let's start with the psychology for matchers. The first reason that I think matchers love matching campaigns is they don't want to just be considered piggy banks. They don't want to feel like you're just coming to them every time you need money. They want to be leaders in the field. And this is their ability to do that, to go and lead by example, to put their money where their mouth is, and to go out and say, I'm going to give this organization this lead gift, and they're going to be able to raise even more because of it. They want to be leaders, not piggy banks. Number 2 is that there's clear outcomes, especially when matching campaigns are paired with peer-to-peer campaigns. There are going to be clear outcomes because campaigns have definitive start dates, they have definitive end dates, there are definitive goals. Matchers can point to a campaign and they can say, this is what success looks like. I was thinking about the data I presented to you earlier from Double the Donation, and I have a feeling that the numbers would be even higher if they were doing it through a peer-to-peer ambassador-led campaign. But they're not. Their numbers were collected strictly from workplace giving. But with workplace giving, they might have $100,000 of matching funds available, and maybe the employees are able to get $50,000, give $50,000. That's great. Like they've matched 50% of the matching funds available. There's no saying whether that's a win or a loss. There's no saying whether that's successful or fell short of a goal. And one of the things I really like about pairing matching campaigns with peer-to-peer is that there are clear outcomes, and matchers love that too. They can wrap their arms around it and tell you exactly what success looks like, because by this time in 2 days and 48 hours from now, we have to raise this much amount of money, and that's going to be our outcome. Matchers love clear outcomes. You're going to get broad community support. One other really fascinating thing that we found from running so many peer-to-peer campaigns is, while the primary goal of every campaign, of course, is fundraising, there are these secondary goals that come out of it where there's buzz, there's media, there's social media. You might be written up in a local newspaper. People are going to be talking about your campaign on the street. And the effect of that, the impact of that is more people are going to know about your services and products. You might get more beneficiaries to your organization because you ran a crowdfunding campaign, and more people are going to be aware of what you provide. Matchers, once again, love that because they love your organization. They want more people to be using your services, and that broad community support, that mobilization of people comes with running a crowdfunding campaign. Matchers love that part of it. The other reason why matchers love matching is because it's going to inspire more gifts from smaller donors. You're going to be able to say that the money that you put up is going to inspire more people to give, and it's going to inspire more people to give more, right? Those data points are really significant. When matchers put up money, they're going to get more people to give that otherwise would not have given, and they're going to get more people to give more than they otherwise would have. And matchers love that. There's that ripple effect that comes from it. They're also going to be able to lead by example in getting other lead gifts. Let's just use another example here. Let's say you're trying to put a pool together of $100,000, and you go to your first major donor and you ask them for a $25,000 or $50,000 lead gift as part of this matching pool. Once you've secured that, it's going to be much easier for you to go to your other major donors and fill that pool with the rest of the $100,000. One of my favorite quotes is that good leaders create followers, great leaders create leaders, right? Jeremy's nodding his head. I know he loves that too. That's what a lead gift from a matching campaign does. You're going to be able to create other leaders by giving that first lead gift. Matchers want to be in that seat. They want to be driving. Let them do that by becoming matchers to this campaign. And the last bullet for this slide is that they like to see their name in bright lights, right? They are due a lot of recognition for the amazing generosity that they're displaying. And you're going to be able to give them that recognition because their name can be in all of the marketing that you do for this campaign. It can be on the campaign page, and it can be in ads if you take out ads. It can be every time you talk about the campaign, you can use your matchers' names and give them the recognition that they so deserve for the generosity that they're displaying. And you can use that as an incentive for them to become matchers in the first place. Now, why does the crowd like matching campaigns? Why do they respond so positively to it? The first reason is that a good deal is irresistible, right? When I walk into a store, the first place that I go to is the sale rack. I want to know what I can get on sale because a good deal is irresistible. Just last week or 2 weeks ago, I walked into the supermarket. I bought 2 floor cleaners because it was 2 for the price of 1. I promise you it takes me about 1.5 years to go through floor cleaner, but I bought 2 of them. They are now taking up space below my sink because it was a good deal, and it was an impulsive decision in a lot of ways. And I think it's a good reminder here to tell you that donating, the act of philanthropy, is an emotional decision. It's an emotional decision. We don't want to rationalize it, make it logical. We don't want people to think when they're giving us their donation. We want them to give with their hearts, not with their heads. And a matching campaign is a great opportunity to do that. There's an emotional response that we have to a good deal. If my gift is going to be matched, I want to take advantage of that and do that. It is an emotional thing. It is not an analytic feeling that is making me do it. It is an emotional feeling. The other reason why smaller donors, the crowd loves matching campaigns is because a nominal gift feels big, right? If I'm giving $25 to an organization and I go to the CauseMatch campaign and I type in $25, it's going to show up real big that the effect of my gift is $50. So my nominal gift feels big. And right along with that, it arms your ambassadors that are going to be soliciting on your behalf. It arms them with the answer to the question, does my gift really matter? If my sister calls me up and she says, Ramy, there's really an organization that's near and dear to my heart, would you donate $25 to it? One of the questions that people give their ambassadors, one of the questions that I can ask my sister is, I see this organization as a multi-million-dollar organization. Is my $25 really going to do anything? And you arm your ambassadors with the answer to that question is yes, it is absolutely going to do something. It's going to do something because it's doubled. It's not $25, it's actually $50. The last reason why the crowd responds so favorably to matching opportunities is because social proof is a fantastic driver. We make a lot of decisions because of positive peer pressure, right? Because I see so many other people making the same decision, and there's a feeling that it must be a good decision because of it. The most common thing that people turn to when they come onto a CauseMatch campaign page, any CauseMatch employee will tell you this, is the recent donor panel. People want to see who else has given to your campaign. It's the same logic applies with matching. If I already see that there are matchers that are willing to put big money up to stake this organization, there's a feeling like it's already been vetted. It's already been vetted by real benefactors. I can give to it. It allows for me to be able to give. Social proof is a fantastic driver. And the crowd responds to that in a really, really positive way. Now, what's the psychology of matching for your organization? Psychology of matching for your organization is you can turn $5,000 into $15,000. Let me explain to you how. If you have a $5,000 donor, let's go back to our mid-level donor example. If you have a $5,000 donor and you want to turn to this donor, you want to ask them to increase their gift. So you say, Mr. or Mrs. Johnson, you've been a loyal supporter of ours for many years. You've been giving $5,000. Would you consider a gift as part of matching pools up to $7,500? $7,500 gift this year, an increase of $2,500 to be part of a matching pool of money. And Mr. and Mrs. Johnson are going to say, Ramy, you've cultivated us so well. You made such a nice ask. Of course, we're going to give you the $7,500. Fantastic. So I've just turned $5,000 into $7,500. I'm then taking that $7,500 and matching it with money from the crowd, from people that would not have given otherwise and would not have given as much otherwise. So I'm taking that $7,500 and I'm turning it into $15,000. $5,000, a $5,000 donor suddenly becomes a $15,000 gift between that increase and the money from the crowd. You can turn $5,000 into $15,000. And that's the second reason why organizations should absolutely love matching campaigns, because it's going to give you that great way to ask for the increase, a really natural way for you to turn to your mid-level and major donors and ask for that increase. That's really where I see so much of the magic lie when it comes to matching campaigns, is asking for that increase to build your donor pool right there. The last reason why I think you should love matching campaigns is because it's going to create a sense of urgency for you and the campaign organizers and your ambassadors. You are going to collect a pool of $100,000, and you are basically going to tell the world that you are going to match that money. And there is nothing that lights a fire under people like a public commitment, right? When you put your goal front and center up there, it's going to motivate you and all of the campaign organizers and your ambassadors to work harder to make sure that you're able to raise as much money as you can to match the money from your matchers. That sense of urgency does you a huge, huge favor. You're going to work harder, you're going to work smarter because of it. There's that accountability factor that you need. And it works wonders for so many campaigns and organizations. Okay. Now, I want to try and put it into practice here. There are a couple of do's and don'ts when it comes to matching campaigns. I'm going to put up 4 do's and 4 don'ts here. First, let's put it all into practice. Wrong direction. Okay. The first thing that I want to stress here is I still want the ask to be transformational, not transactional. Now, this becomes a little bit trickier because we're talking about math here, and you're talking about the amount that someone's going to give, which is by definition a transaction. But I still want you to frame the ask in terms of making it transformational. So what do I mean by that? You can tell people your $25 is going to be matched. That feels transactional. But your $25 is going to be matched to feed more children, to get more people into the school, to get more people connected to our community, whatever the end of that sentence is, as long as you're connecting it to the impact that your organization is having, as long as you're connecting it to the impact that your donor is going to have when he or she donates, then you're going to stay transformational, not transactional. So even though we're talking about math and numbers and the amounts of money that people are going to give, I still want you to focus on the impact when you're creating that messaging, both when you're going to matchers and when you're writing your messaging for the campaign itself and talking to the crowds. You still want this to be transformational. I think you should obsess over the matching when you speak to donors. Again, both the matchers and from the crowd. We don't just want to hope that they read this one really important element of our campaign. We want to essentially make all of our messaging around the campaign about the matching. That's why when you come to a CauseMatch page to donate for a matching campaign, you can't miss the ×2 that's on there. It's in your face. Your whole campaign, in essence, should be about the matching element. Again, as long as it's coupled with the impact that donors are going to have when they donate, what the end result is going to be for your service recipients, for your benefactors. That's what for your beneficiaries, I'm sorry, that's what we're looking for. You want to obsess over the matching and to double the impact that you can have for your beneficiaries. This may sound a little silly, but I think you should do the math for them. You should tell them that $25 equals $50, that $100 equals $200. I think you should do the math for them because once again, you don't want them to think too much. The more that we can do that thinking for them, the quicker they're going to be able to make that decision to donate. Do the math for them, spell it out for them as clearly as possible. Clarity, simplicity when it comes to these campaigns goes a very, very long way, and you can push that forward by doing the math for them. Lastly, create a sense of urgency, and those are manufactured here by putting a time frame on the campaign when it's 24 or 36 or 48 hours. You want to give people not just the incentive to donate, but you want to give them the incentive to donate now, and you do that with that scarcity factor, by essentially telling them that this matching opportunity is going to end at a certain time. So create that sense of urgency for them and people will respond. Now, what are the 4 pitfalls to avoid? The first is a fractional match. I would stay away from a 1.5 match or 50 cents on the dollar. 2x works, 3x works, 4x works, but fractional matches do not work so well. By the way, when it comes to 3x and 4x matches, they definitely do not hurt. I've seen conflicting data, both within CauseMatch's data and from data from other companies about how much they help. They certainly do not hurt. Fractional matches hurt, but a 3x and 4x campaign can help. Sometimes it goes up, but it's not always relative to a 2x campaign. Just wanted to throw that out there. Another pitfall to avoid is double your donation language. You might use double the donation as a way to tell people that their donations are going to be doubled. I've seen this used in campaigns before. That's not what the donor hears, though. It's a great reminder to be really attuned to what your audience hears. When they hear double your donation, they hear you want me to double my gifts from last year, which really falls flat if I'm a new donor to your campaign and have never given to you before. At that point, I'm thinking, this organization doesn't know me and is sending out the wrong message to the wrong person. So just be careful with the language that you use and really vet it to make sure that it is appropriate and that it doesn't sound one way to your ear and a different way to your audience's ear. The third pitfall I want to really encourage you to avoid is not thanking your matchers. Please, please thank your matchers. And just like we tell donors that we're going to give them all of the credits for the amazing outcomes that take place in your organization, you should give your matchers all of the credit for the amazing campaign that you've just run, right? You can give them the statistics. You can tell them how many new donors came to the campaign, how much new money came into the campaign. And you can tell your matchers that it's because of their lead gifts that all of those outcomes happened, that you were able to get so many new donors, that you were able to get so much new money. But the most important thing is to thank your matchers and make sure that they feel appreciated. And the fourth pitfall is not to thank your donors. I can't help but throw this in at every opportunity that I have because I see so many organizations go radio silent on their donors after a campaign. Please do not do that. Please thank your donors. Tell them over and over again that their gifts were matched. Remind them about it. Make them feel awesome. give them that dopamine hit over and over and over again, even after your campaign. Just please, please thank your donors. I want to end by laying out what the next steps to securing matching donors are. I'm going to put them all up on the screen all at once here. And I'll tell you why I'm doing it. I'm going to walk you through them in just a second, but I don't want to make this any more complicated than it has to be. We put a lot of thought into these things, and I think there is a little bit of a tendency to overthink them. But I want to break it down for you and just tell you that these are the steps that you need to go out and start collecting pools of money for your matching pool. First thing is work through your potential donors list. Look through, highlight the names of people that are good candidates to be matchers. You can even rank them tier 1, tier 1, tier 2, and tier 3. And take that list of all your tier 1 donors or all your tier 1 and tier 2 donors. Decide what team member should be the right person to make the ask. Can assign someone, it can be a board member, it can be someone on your staff, it might be you, doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter, but the important thing is assigning each candidate someone who is going to make that ask. You schedule the outreach and you prepare your pitch. Again, I just wanted to break it down into these steps because the hardest part is going out there and doing it. There's a lot of overthinking that we can do. The most important part is to go out and do it. So with that, I'd like to open it up to questions. I think we have about 15 minutes or so. Aviva, can you come off mute and help moderate the Q&A, as I have not had it open throughout this.
Of course. So there were no questions asked during
Okay.
the speech itself, during the presentation itself.
Okay. Any questions now that come up as we have another 10, 15 minutes or so?
Question.
Who's jumping in?
Parrot Shinerman.
Go for it.
So what do you do about the fact that there is, because there are so many of these campaigns at this point? In other words, I get literally, I don't need to tell you how many of them on my desk that people say, Rabbi, the reality is that if we don't raise the money, the matchers are going to give you the money anyways.
That is true. And I want to respect and validate the fact that these have to be real and authentic. And I don't ever want to do anything that is not authentic to your organization and doesn't feel real to you. But I do think it is a matter of framing, right? I do think it is a matter of framing, because if it feels insincere to frame it in a certain matching component, then I think I just jotted down some language before this that I would say something like, we're getting a challenge from our best donors to expand our reach and audience. Something like that. You can tell people that we've already secured the money, and now we're using that as a challenge grant from our matchers to the crowd to expand our reach. But the important thing is that it is authentic and real to you, because donors can sniff through that and they can sense when it's not. Back in the old days of CauseMatch, we ran a lot of all or nothing campaigns where we told the organizations told their donors that if they didn't hit a certain goal, the matchers wouldn't come through. And we found that to be really insincere. A lot of organizations were holding back big gifts that came in 6 months earlier just to make sure that they hit their goal. So we did away with those because there was a lot of inauthenticity. So I totally respect that question and hear that question, that whatever you're doing has to be real and authentic to your organization. At the same time, I think you can use the truth and say that we've secured this money and now we're going to use it as a challenge to expand our reach.
Question?
Yes.
Oh,
Thank you. I'm just curious, I guess, maybe more about the psychology, meaning the way the matching campaigns work is that money's already secured before. So if you're running a $100,000 campaign, when 50 was already raised, it's not really being matched. It's really a $50,000 campaign and 50 already raised.
Yes, I guess it depends on how you're calling the $100,000. If the $100,000 is from the crowd or it's from the total package with the matchers.
Yeah, from the total package, let's say.
Okay, so what's the question?
I'm just curious how that works. Like, people realize it's not like, oh, if you raise 50, I'll give. Like, the people already gave. The matching funds are already secured. So it's really just a smaller amount.
Yes, and yes, but you are getting that smaller amount, no matter what the amount is. The important point is that you're getting that money from a lot of new donors who wouldn't have otherwise given, and you're getting increases from people that would have given otherwise, but they might not have given as much, right? So even if the matching gifts are already secured, people are still going to give more. That is the takeaway, that people are still going to give more, even though they know that the matching gifts are already secured.
Is there ever such a thing as you telling a person like, Josh, however much you'll match everything I raise? He goes, yeah, do your best. That's how much I'll give. Because in a way, that would be a legit situation where the person says, go for it. Whatever you raise, I'll double it, or I'll match it. I mean, that would be the legit thing, no? These things are a little bit of a svara.
So that's what's interesting is that we found when they were set up that way, then there were more funny games being played. Because if a matcher is going to match whatever I raise, then what happens if I get a big gift, the day before he issues that match? And I say to the person who made the commitment, you know what? Just wait 24 hours before you send me that check. Because if you wait 24 hours before you send me that check, then I'm going to have another donor who's going to match what you come in. And things started to get a little bit fishier there, because then what if it's not 24 hours before, but it's 3 months before or 6 months before? And all of a sudden there were more games being played just because they knew that there was real money that was at stake. Then the organizations were much more tempted to play these types of games. What we have found is that it's actually more authentic to do it this way, where the money is secured beforehand. You're never telling donors anything otherwise, and you're using that as a challenge for more people to join the matchers in supporting this organization.
Question?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. Ron Ben Oliel, Mikdash Malach, Yerushalayim. So I know that probably the worst feeling a fundraiser can have is when he asks one of his major donors to repeat his annual donation, and he says, "I'm very sorry, but things are not as good as they were last year. I'm going to have to cut you, or even worse, I have to pass. I can't do it right now." Now, this situation, I think I'm probably not the only one, but if your base of major donors are wholesalers doing business with China right now, you might understand what kind of pushback I'm getting. It's a wait and see, not right now. I don't know what's going to be on many of my major donors. Now I'm trying to put together one of these campaigns, so I came up with this idea, and maybe you can help me flesh it out or knock it down, which is instead of save what I could save. In other words, he's not going to give me the $18,000 annual donation he's been giving me. He wants to give me nothing right now. He wants to just push me off, right? Maybe it'll be 2 months, 3 months, 6 months. Everybody's going to wait and see. I want to tell him, look, I understand the situation. I have to feel for him. He's not getting any goods from China right now. Nothing's happening. He's furloughing workers. It's a very nerve-wracking time. I have to feel for him. So I was telling him, listen, give me half, and you'll match. And I'll get a matcher. Now, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to somehow save the half. Save half by making him feel that he's giving the 18, right? But it's only going to cost him 9. This is a half-baked solution. I just wonder if anybody could flesh this out, or just put it to rest. What do I do? What do I do if such a person with the guy? I just have to let him go. I lose $18,000. I'm trying to be Hatzel Laporta, as they say, somewhat of a saving the situation. How do I turn a matching concept into that to make him feel, oh, I got to help. Next year I'm really an $18,000 guy. So next year I'm back to the 18. I don't know, maybe wishful thinking. What do you say?
I think there's a lot more to discuss there, and I would want to unpack that a little bit and ask some clarifying questions. What I would say just off the cuff is that, as tempting as it may be to look at this situation in the short term, fundraising has always been, especially at this level of giving, the long game. And you just want to, above all else, make sure that you preserve this relationship. Because if this person is not able to give at that same level now, hopefully in the near future, he'll be able to again. And as long as you've maintained and nurtured that relationship, that money will come up again. I know that doesn't help you in the here and now. And I think there might be ways to troubleshoot, but as tempting as it may be to just look for that short-term solution, let's also think about it from the long term as well. But again, I think it's best something if we talk about offline. I'd be happy to continue that conversation.
But I thought your whole speech was about it's good leverage. So what the gentleman suggested is I didn't think it was such a bad idea, and say you have to realize it's not just about your donation, it's about how your donation could inspire other people to give. So even if you're not giving the same amount as usual, your inspiration is worth so much. You'd be very surprised if we put you as the matcher. So now you'll inspire more people to give. It's proven, and you give more people will give more money. I thought it were. Isn't that what you're saying? This is for?
Yeah, and I just want to add that if I felt that the person was really in a position not to give, then I agree that we have to do the long-term thing. Don't press him now when he's not able to give just by trying to get half. Wait, and but the situation that's out there right now is not that all of a sudden they don't have money to give. It's a tightening of the purse strings because of the unknown, because there's so much uncertainty in the markets. But if he had to, if he made this, whatever the story is, if he needed that money, to dip into his pockets, well, he has the money. I don't have that. I'm not doubting that. It's just not in the mood. But I need the money now. My campaign is now, right, or in 2-4 weeks. So that's where I'm looking to. Anyway, that's. I don't want to take it off track, but.
I come down where Ramey said. I had that in LA a few months ago. A guy said to me, a regular donor, he said, I can't give right now because of the fires. I'm giving for the fires. And I told him, I said, our relationship is not based on money. I'm there for you in good times and in the not so good. Let's follow up in a few months. And when things cleared up a little bit, I got a check from him already. So.
Okay. Well taken.
Ramey, what's the smallest amount? What if you don't have matchers, or what's the smallest amount of a matcher?
I think there's a lot of variables that would go into answering that question. I think it would depend on the size of your campaign. I think it would depend on the size of the number of other matchers that you could get. So it's sort of like you want to sort of reverse engineer the math problem in terms of how much money you want to be a part of the matching pool, and then work backwards from there to see how you can raise it. If you can get 50 donors to give $1,000 as part of a $50,000 matching pool, that's great. That might work. I haven't seen that happen all that often, but that very well might work.
I didn't understand what you just said about that 50,000, 1,000. I'm talking about a person who's starting from scratch, who's never raised money before. And I don't know, could you do a match for 2,000? Or does the match have to be 5,000 or 10,000? Or is the matching amount always going to be half of your campaign that you're expecting? I'm not understanding.
Well, are you talking about a whole campaign, or are you talking about just the matching pool of money?
Well, we start from, there's no matchers. You do the best you can to raise money. It's your first time around. The next level up is, okay, this matching thing is a great idea. Let's do that. So if I don't get somebody at what number, does it pay if somebody says, okay, I'll match $2,000? Does that make sense? Or is it a $5,000 thing? Is it a $10,000 thing? What kind of,
well,
is it always half of what you expect to raise? Is that how it goes?
I think I'm trying to make sure I understand what you're asking. I think if you are trying to raise, let's just say $50,000, and you have $2,000 of matching money, I would not go in that direction. I would find that very confusing as a donor for what's going to be matched. So in my mind, it has to be simple. If it's not simple, I'm crunching the numbers and figuring out what piece is going to be matched, that's bad. So the answer is sort of yes, it has to be at least half of what your whole campaign goal is. If you came to me and you said, we have a $50,000 campaign and the first $10,000 is going to be matched, I think there are ways that we can make it work so that it's simple. I don't think it necessarily has to be exactly 50% is going to be matched. I think you could run a mini campaign within your campaign that says the first $10,000 is matched. But I wouldn't, don't want to have to break out my calculator. Don't make me break out my calculator, please. Okay, we are already a couple minutes over, and I want to be respectful of people's time here. So once again, my email address is front and center on the screen. If you have other questions, please email me. I will respond, I promise. And looking forward to meeting with you again soon.
Thank you
Thank
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Remy.
Thanks, Remy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Remy.
Good luck, everyone.
Thank you.
Be matzliach.
Amen.